I couldn't breathe. Hands were squeezing my neck with impossible strength, and I felt the skin of my neck being pressed harder and harder until my lungs started to burn from the lack of air. I tried to scream, to move, anything, but I was completely trapped, watching that darkness wrap around me as I suffocated. Welcome to the Sloom Room channel. Today, I'm going to tell you a true story I found on Reddit, something that happened in Italy this year, to someone who preferred not to fully identify themselves. It's one of those stories that makes you rethink what really happens when we sleep, and honestly, for me, it's one of the scariest ones, since I myself go through recurring situations very similar to this. Stay until the end, and if you like it, leave a like. Let's get started. It all started in a simple way. I was in my early 20s and going through a stressful phase in life, working too much, sleeping too little. The first nightmares came on a Thursday night. I woke up in the middle of the night with my heart racing, sweating cold. I had dreamed that someone was in my room, watching. It wasn't anything special, just a bad nightmare like any other. But the next night, it happened again, and the next, and the next. The routine turned into a cycle of terror. I would go to bed scared, knowing I was going to dream about that presence. Always the same feeling, waking up in the dark, feeling that there was something there, a shadow, a shape that I couldn't quite see, but I knew it was there. The worst part was that, in those dreams, I couldn't move. I'd be lying there, trying to scream, trying to call someone, but my body wouldn't respond. After a week, I started waking up with marks on my body, small scratches on my arm, a bruise on my thigh that I had no idea where it came from. I thought I was hurting myself in my sleep, maybe thrashing around because of the nightmares. But the marks kept appearing. The nightmare always followed the same pattern now. I would open my eyes in my dark room. Everything was exactly as it should be. The same placement of the furniture, the same shadows cast by the window. But I couldn't move a single muscle. And then I would feel that weight on my chest, as if something were sitting on top of me, pressing me down. I tried to scream, but my mouth wouldn't move. I tried to take a deep breath, but the air wouldn't come in right. And there was the creature. I don't really know how to describe it. It was like a shadow with shape, something between human and animal. Sometimes it seemed to have a distorted face. Other times it was just a dark mass. But it was always there, always watching me with a malice I could feel, even without seeing any eyes. I started to be afraid of sleeping. I'd lie in bed and stay awake for hours with the light on, just putting off the inevitable, because I knew that when I closed my eyes, it would be there again, that dark room, that paralysis, that thing watching me. The marks got worse. One day I woke up with a deep scratch on my back, 3 red lines that burned. My mother got worried, asked if I had hit something, if I was okay. I didn't know what to say. How could I explain that I was waking up hurt without knowing why? The nightmare kept getting more intense. The creature started getting closer. Before, it would stay in the corner of the room, just watching. Then it started to move, slowly, all the way to the edge of the bed. The weight on my chest grew stronger, more suffocating. I tried to focus on moving something, anything, a finger, a toe, blinking my eyes, any movement that could free me from that paralysis. It never worked. I stayed there, watching that thing get closer, feeling the weight increase, fighting to breathe. It was on a Tuesday that everything changed. I woke up from the nightmare as always, with that horrible feeling of having been suffocated. But this time, when I got out of bed and went to the bathroom, I saw something in the mirror that made my blood run cold. My neck was completely purple. It wasn't a small bruise. They were clear, visible marks, as if someone had grabbed my neck with force during the night. You could even see where the fingers had pressed. I panicked. I touched the marks, and they hurt. It wasn't my imagination. It wasn't psychological. They were real marks, purple, deep, as if I had actually been strangled while I slept. My mother saw me and freaked out. She wanted to take me to the doctor, to the police. She thought someone had broken into our apartment during the night. How could I explain that that it was impossible, that the doors were locked, that I hadn't heard anything, that it had been that thing from the nightmare? I spent the whole day with those marks on my neck, wearing a turtleneck to hide them. People asked if everything was okay, and I lied, said yes. But inside, I was terrified. If that thing had left real marks on my body, what else could it do? That night, I drank 3 cups of coffee. I wasn't going to sleep no matter what. I stayed awake, watching TV on the computer, doing anything to avoid closing my eyes. But sleep always comes sooner or later. It must have been around 4 in the morning when I couldn't take it anymore and passed out in front of the TV. And there I was again, in the dark room, paralyzed. The creature was closer than ever, practically on top of me. I could feel something cold touching my skin, creeping up my neck. I tried to scream with all my strength. I focused every last bit of energy I had on moving, on waking up, on getting out of there. This time I did it. I really woke up, jumping off the couch, screaming. My mother came running from her room, scared. I put my hand on my neck automatically, afraid of what I would find. But there was nothing new. The purple marks from the day before were still there, but nothing else. That was the last time. I don't know what changed. Maybe the fact that I managed to move, that I managed to wake up before that thing did whatever it was trying to do. Maybe the fact that I screamed, that I reacted somehow. Or maybe the thing just got tired of me, I don't know. The nightmares stopped from that night on. The marks on my neck took almost 2 weeks to completely disappear. I still have the photos I took saved on my phone because I knew no one would believe me if I just told the story. I'm still afraid to sleep sometimes. Whenever I'm really stressed, really tired, that feeling comes back, as if the creature were still there in the corner of the room, waiting for the right opportunity to come back. But for now, it hasn't come back. And I pray it stays that way. If you like this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with that person who likes stories like this, or who, just like me, has sleep paralysis. See you next time.